The upcoming NATO summit in The Hague is set to be one of the most consequential gatherings for the alliance in recent years, with leaders expected to agree on a significant increase in defense spending targets. The summit, scheduled for late June 2025, takes place against a backdrop of heightened global security concerns, ongoing conflict in Ukraine, and escalating tensions in the Middle East. The primary focus will be on reinforcing NATO's unity and credibility, particularly in response to persistent calls from the United States for greater burden sharing among European allies.
And how they proceed and adapt to the current challenges in the environment. The NATO summit at The Hague next week will be a short and sharp summit. It will be very much focused on ensuring that we convey unity of thought regarding what is going on in Ukraine. And it is a summit that reinforces NATO's credibility, its leadership and unity. It will be very much focused on 5% target, and that will be the most relevant to say right now, that it will be the focus of the discussion and also the outcome of the NATO summit at The Hague.
Well, I think NATO should have 5%, yeah. Well, you can't do it at 2. I mean, at 2%, every country, if you're going to have a country in a regular military, you're at 4%. I think they should be, you know, they're in dangerous territory. I think it should be, they can all afford it, but they should be at 5%, not 2%. I'm the one that got them to pay 2%. Very much.
Are we doing this because we need to fill the capabilities gap, or are we doing this to make sure that US is still on board and President Trump is happy with the NATO summit? We all know that he likes to make deals. He likes to ensure that he won the deal, and making sure that the NATO communique at The Hague next week has 5% target set for the NATO allies to spend on defense means that President Trump will be happy with the NATO summit outcome, which means that he will not be he will not be trying to ask for more from the European member states and Canada because they are spending less than the United States.
Good afternoon, everyone.
I will propose an overall investment plan that will total 5% of GDP in defense investment, 3.5% of GDP for core defense spending. This is based on what it will cost to meet the new capability targets that ministers have just agreed, and 1.5% of GDP per year in defense and security-related investments like infrastructure and industry. Good to see you. Thank you.
If there is achievement of 5%, Europeans will be actually, it will be in European member states' benefit as well, because they will be building their capabilities. They will be making sure that there is a clear pathway towards their European security architecture, and they have they can actually protect themselves with or without the US coming in and having boots on the ground. If it lets the war in Ukraine end on Russia's terms, the test of the target will be the timeline. If the implication timeline is actually given at the summit, because there are different perceptions of what it could be. Is it 2032, 2030, 2035? Depending on which member states spends how much on the defense spending, they have different perceptions of how and when they can achieve 5%.
President Trump, do you have a message for Vladimir Putin as you meet with President Zelensky today?
Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military?
We have problems.
And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States?
На мій погляд, якщо Україна не буде присутня на саміті НАТО, то це буде перемога Путіна, але не над Україною. а над НАТО.
Very unfortunate because what can be avoided if there is not a strong message sent at the summit in its communique that the alliance stands for Ukraine and its territorial integrity and sovereignty, then I think we are seeing a weak message from NATO.
The summit's agenda is also heavily influenced by the ongoing war in Ukraine. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has emphasized the importance of a strong and unequivocal message from NATO in support of Ukraine's territorial integrity and sovereignty. Beyond Europe, the summit takes place amid rising instability in the Middle East. The recent escalation between Israel and Iran, marked by missile exchanges and heightened regional tensions, has underscored the importance of robust air defense systems and intelligence sharing among NATO members. In summary, the 2025 NATO summit in The Hague represents a pivotal moment for the alliance as it seeks to adapt to a rapidly changing security environment. The adoption of a 5% defense spending target signals a renewed commitment to collective defense and burden sharing, while ongoing support for Ukraine and attention to Middle Eastern security challenges highlight the alliance's global responsibilities. The outcomes of the summit will shape NATO's strategic direction for years to come, reinforcing its role as the cornerstone of Euro-Atlantic security in an era of uncertainty and transformation.